what do? I get up every day, I get up to win. I hate to lose more than I even love to win. My brain only works in one way, and it's looking forward. I started with a pencil, piece of paper, going to back doors of warehouses, selling my product, pallet wrap. That was the start of Zeus. This okay? Yeah. My name is Brian O'Sullivan. I grew up and was born in the middle of the country in a place called Britway, which is North Cork. The house I was born in, it was where my grandparents were born, and my mother was born in that house, and we, myself, my brother and sister, were also born in that 2-bedroom cottage.
He never slept, and I always thought that he mistook night for day. He walked at 11 months, and he didn't stop since.
My education, I went to the local national school, which was 500 metres up the road from where we lived, a 2-teacher national school, a great school but a very small school.
Brian and I started the same year, 1973, in Britway National School. He as a student and I as a teacher. He always did everything quicker than anybody else. It was difficult to keep him in one spot. And I'd like to think that some of Brian's success is down to my teaching.
I had a good upbringing. It was a farming community. We were the family without the farm. I probably couldn't understand why we didn't have the farm, because that's what I could see that gave the people I went to the national school with their, in inverted commas, perceived wealth. I worked on farms, and I think that desire was certainly there.
He was always selling things, you know. He worked for a farmer, he got a calf in payment, and then a year later he'd sell that. You know, so he was always into making money or doing things.
My mother reads people pretty instantly, and I found that in most cases, though I may have disagreed, when you reflect back on it, you look back and go, do you know what? She was probably right.
Brian is a very good reader of people, and I think he got that from me, and he got the work side from his father.
Yeah, what sets Brian apart from others in the industry is his drive and his work ethic. I don't think there's anyone in packaging worldwide who works harder than Brian O'Sullivan.
If you want to know what the human version of the Duracell bunny looks like, it's Brian O'Sullivan. It's the energy. I can't believe where he gets the energy from.
You could hear in his voice the drive, the passion, the fire in the belly, the determination. But what I do remember, he sold me, I suppose, were his vision.
Brian is very clear on what he wants. He's very easy to approach, so his guidance and his knowledge helps merge everyone together.
He is very determined. He sets his mind on something and he's getting that. He's extremely ambitious, but he's a loving father and husband. A family motto that Brian has instilled in the children is never give in, never give up, and never give out.
Well, I had the Christmas shops, I sold ice cream, all of the things you might think that somebody would do, but I did. So there's an inbuilt desire to build a business. I also learned that I'm not sure if I wanted it to be handed to me. I definitely wanted to build it myself. Next step for me was there was 2 schools in Fermoy. One was St. Coleman's, would be in the perception where the people with the farms went to, and then the other people went to the tech. So I went to the tech. I saw absolutely nothing wrong with it. It gave me a real perception that to succeed, you had to be tough in business. You certainly have to be tough, and you've got to make tough decisions. I made a decision, in that school that I wanted to go further and get out and do more. Actually, when I graduated from Thomond College, I think I got the first degree out of the University of Limerick because they amalgamated. I didn't know any business people. I'd never met a business person. So, but what I did do was that I had a huge interest in business and an interest in them as business people. And I would look at a business, see who the owner was, and I would see what they did and how did they get to where they were in that business. I would look at the ones that I would felt that were the best, and I would say, how could I be better? I got an opportunity to sell agricultural crop packaging part-time while I'm still teaching. It was a small company. The owner was basically the salesperson. That business, I took it over a couple of years, with the owner, from a very small business to having a revenue of about 7 or 8 million, which was a significant, sizable business. I remember distinctly saying to the owner, I'd like to be part of this. 5% would have done. And I know 5% would have done because I loved what I was doing. I loved selling. He said, no, it's a family business. And he said, no. I got an opportunity to sell that product from the same company where we were buying the agricultural stretch film from. Now I had worked with him or alongside him kind of in a real business, and I could see what a business looked like, and the timing was right. So I started then with one product, pallet wrap for wrapping pallets, a pencil, piece of paper, and I started going to back doors of warehouses selling my product, my business. That was the start of Zeus. I started to try and sell. Quickly learned that this was too expensive. This was not going to work. I knew how good the product was, so I knew I had to change. So I started to demonstrate to the operators that, look, this is a more expensive product, but if we use less, then it will actually save you money. There was no other way. I had to survive. I was going to give up my teaching role. I had made that decision, so I changed the method from day one, from selling price per roll to price per pallet, selling less from day one. We actually were a sustainable business back then, before sustainability became what it is today, and I didn't realize that we were. And the early clients said, Brian, yeah, but we're buying pallet wrap from you. We buy a lot of other packaging. Why don't you supply us with tape? Because we obviously tape boxes. So the next challenge then is to go and find a tape manufacturer, a tape supplier that's going to do the same thing again. Luckily enough, got somebody in Italy that I discovered that was manufacturing tape. I told him I was going to build the biggest packaging business in Ireland. I'm sure he looked at me and went, yeah. And in that, he must have seen something, because he agreed to give me 10 pallets of tape on credit. So the 2 pallets became 4 pallets, and the 4 pallets became to a situation where I could actually buy a container of product. I learned then that the real turning point was when you could get a container of whatever the product may be. That gave you a different price point than my other competitors, because a lot of them didn't do that. Okay, now I've got consumables. Now I need to move on, and I need the machinery to actually apply the consumable. In this case, pallet wrapping machinery. A memory that will stick with me forever, that became a very successful company, a company called C&F Tooling in Galway. They were building a new factory in Galway, and they needed a pallet wrap machine. I sold them my first ever pallet wrap machine. I remember coming down the road in my green Opel Astra, Guns N' Roses blaring, my long locks out the window, and I screaming and roaring at that. Just the joy, the delight that I had of actually making that sale. I now knew what I could do. It was the start of something that I knew could develop.
I was general manager of a company called Irtex, and I was actually in need of pallet wrap almost on the same day that Brian walked in my office and asked for my business. All I could see was the fire dancing in Brian O'Sullivan's eyes. Some people say that they're amazed with what he's done. I'm not.
I met Brian 14 years ago. We sold to Zeus Group packaging containers that we manufacture in our factory in Spain. I found out a real entrepreneur, a real family businessman in which I can trust. From that moment, we make a very lean company. It was just only Brian and me for the first 3-4 years, and we make it 4 or 5 million. And in the very short time, the company start growing till today that we are already nearly 30. So, who expect in the next following years, I'm sure that we will even just achieve 50 or 100 million. So there is no limit.
Organically, you can grow. But if I wanted to be what I wanted to be, there needed to be something more. And this thing was called acquisition. M&A, merger and acquisitions. You actually buy businesses. So that was the start of my journey in, I think, the real journey in growing Zeus from a business that could and would have grown organically. To what level? I don't know. But certainly the real change was when that opportunity presented itself to me and I made a decision to buy a business. And we've gone on then to acquire many businesses and grow organically to where we are today.
And the 2021 EY Entrepreneur of the Year is Brian O'Sullivan.
To win the Entrepreneur of the Year award, judged independently by 12 judges of the most highest caliber of judges in the country, that for me was something that was very special and very important.
Thank you. Brian, congratulations to you. Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you very much.
You've just joined a very exclusive club. What does this award mean to you?
Will I give you the corporate answer or can I give you my answer?
No.
Yes!
That's the answer we wanted.
I am delighted! I don't do corporate well, Dara, this is me. I am fantastic. It just means that much to me. Huge vindication for all of the work. Don't be defined from background where you come from. Keep going, keep trying, make sure you work hard. So it means a huge amount to me, Dara. It just means a massive amount to me personally, my family, and to all of Zeus. So thank you very much. That's how much it means.
Well,
thank you.
And on that,
The EOY team insisted that I take my family on the journey because I probably wouldn't have. And they understood, or had some understanding of what I do. And I think that has actually completely changed where I am as a person and as the business, in that now my family can actually see what Zeus is about.
I was there with him. When we came home then on the Sunday, we sponsor a GA team, a local team in Castlelyons, and Brian had to go to one of their matches to support them. I gathered the family together, and when he came home from the GA match, everybody was in the kitchen. It was a real moment where everybody was just so delighted for him. And then he went out to the car and brought in the 2 awards that he'd won, and it was a real celebration that night.
I began back with that role of pallet wrap. But I started by selling less packaging back then because I was forced to do it. Today it's different. That journey, that 25 years has seen us evolve as what I believe as one of the most sustainable packaging businesses on the planet.
I think it's a fantastic business, and I suppose people listening would say, well, you would say that. Brian started off, I suppose, a one-man show. The business has grown substantially. When I joined the business, we were just in Ireland. Then we moved into the UK. Then it started into Europe. Then the rest of the world, such as Australia, New Zealand, Canada.
Zeus is an incredible success story. A homegrown Irish company, started in 1998, 25 years old, out of Cork. Employs almost 1,100 people now in Ireland and around the world, and led by a massively visionary entrepreneur in Brian O'Sullivan.
We've built a business to €500 million with 1,100 direct staff employed by the business. With 2,000 other staff in our contracting facilities, 50 locations around the world. So I'm very proud of those numbers and what we've done.
If you could go back in time and the conversation we had, if we really would believe we are where we are today, based on that, because it's just been Hollywood. It's been a Hollywood story.